pump and pour with me while I share some pumping hacks and tips. I gave birth about 6 weeks ago, but I didn't start pumping until a couple weeks after that, and I feel like that was kind of bad for my supply. But I feel like most people were like, yeah, you don't need to start pumping until you get closer to going to work. Shouldn't have listened. I'm just putting this together right now. This is the Mom Med S21, I think. I'll link it below. This is a wearable, so you can just put it right in your bra and go about your day, which is nice. Oops, I forgot to put this piece in. I definitely like the wearables, but I didn't realize before I got them that since the milk you pour out of the top and they sit in your bra like this, if you bend over to do dishes or grab the laundry out of the dryer, it can pour out so easily. So yes, you can wear them about your day, but also like you're limited. Otherwise you have to like squat down to like go close to the ground, you have to like pick something up or whatever. So the first day I wore them, I definitely poured out quite a bit because I wasn't really paying attention. If you're pumping and it hurts or you're not getting much, try a different flange size. I think the average flange size I heard is like 13 millimeters, but no, the typical nipple size is 13 millimeters. But the typical flange size that comes with pumps is like 24, which is way off. So more than likely, you are not the size that your pump comes with. So get a flange sizing kit. They're like less than $10 on Amazon. And it makes pumping way more comfortable and helps you get more. So first I'll share some tips for increasing milk supply. Again, the right flange size, using the right flange sizes. I hear wall pumps also are good and help empty you out more. I sometimes use my wall pump. I use a Modelo one, but otherwise I hear oatmeal, eating oatmeal helps. Oatmeal cream pies, how factual is that? I don't know. I hear the oats good for milk supply and they taste good, so why not? I get them at Aldi, so they're a cheaper price, and I probably have about one a day. I almost have these all put together. I feel like I'm talking, so I'm taking slower. These really are really quick. These are actually really quick to put together. I'm just talking, so I'm slower. And then the only thing with this, I feel like the charge doesn't last super long, so I just kind of always keep these on the charger. But otherwise, I love these pumps. It has a digital display, so there's a power button. Hold that, it turns on, and then there's like different settings. I always put it on the auto, and then so it shows a 1, but if you click the up, it changes the suction, and then it'll show the time. Right now it's at 00 because it hasn't been any minutes, but it'll count up for you, which is really nice. A lot of pumps don't tell you how long you've been pumping, so I'm gonna turn that off and put it on. And then we'll see how much milk I get. Always make sure that your nipple's right in between the middle of the flange. Otherwise, it does not feel very comfortable. So I have it in there. I think I'm gonna put it at a 6. It's kind of where I usually start. Sometimes I'll go up or down. I don't know. Sometimes I can handle more than other times. I don't know. The more you pump, the more you can increase your milk supply. So even if you just fed and you know you're gonna get like drops, you could still pump. Pumping during the night is important. I did not do that for a while because I was like, if baby's sleeping, I'm sleeping, I'm exhausted. But I started setting a timer and I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd get a lot of milk actually. And then I stopped leaking so much at night. So instead of all that milk going to waste, I was getting it saved and then also helping my supply. I have used these Legendary milk. It's a brand that makes different like supplement things. This is the Milkapalooza. I take them every so often, and I think it says on here take 2 or 3 times a day, but I do like 1 every couple days because a friend gifted this to me. I don't know if I'll actually purchase it. I don't know how much it helps, but you can get things like this. Skin to skin time can actually help your supply. Massaging your breast while feeding or before feeding really helps get more milk out, which helps your supply. There's even like heat massage tools. I actually just got one in the mail. I haven't tried it yet though. And just feeding more often, pumping more often. I feel like that's the biggest thing throughout the day. Feed, pump, whatever. There's this thing called power pumping where you pump for 20 minutes, take a break for 10 minutes, pump for 10 minutes, take a break for 10 minutes, pump for 10 minutes, and it's just like an hour session and take with breaks in between, and that can really help your supply. It kind of mimics cluster feeding. Having a good diet really helps too. Lots of protein, I think iron, so definitely do your research on what foods can help and eat those. Like I said, oatmeal cream pies are good. A couple of other tips not related to increasing your supply are milk you pump from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. so like night nighttime pumped milk has more melatonin in it. So if you keep that separate from your milk pump during the day, you can freeze that and on the bags write PM milk, or if you don't freeze it and you just feed it to your baby later that night, like specifically keep that milk separate for nighttime feedings because you're giving them that more melatonin, which will help them be sleepy, which is good because you want them to sleep at night so you can sleep. These are my favorite breast milk storage bags, and I feel like I've never heard anyone talk about this brand. I don't know how to say it. Oceenew, Oceenew. I'll link these below. They are so nice. So you tear this before putting your milk in. It has a double ziplock, so you're really preventing that leaking. It also has double stitching, or whatever you call it, on the outside to prevent leaking. It has this little thing here that detects the temperature of the milk. So if it's purple, it's cold. If it's blue, it's warm. If it's white, it's hot. So you know what the temperature of the milk is. It has a spot to write name, time, date. Also has the measurements here, but another tip, never use the measurements on the bag. Don't fill this up with milk until, let's say, 6 ounces. It is so beyond inaccurate. I've tried it and then poured it into an actual bottle or measuring thing. So off. So first pour your milk in here to 6 ounces or whatever, and then pour it in here, and you'll see it doesn't even line up on here, but this is accurate, this is not. Another little tip for bagging milk is once you pour the milk in and you have to get the air out, a lot of people like try to squeeze the air out, but if you push the bag up against a counter and then use that to kind of push the milk out, it helps so much. The big reason I love this bag is this little thing here. Just cut here, tear here, whatever, and it pours right out. So many bags you have to open up top and pour it out, and I don't know if it's just me, but I've spilt plenty and I'm losing that precious gold milk. So I love that little pour spout there. So favorite milk bags for sure. I think a lot of moms think once you're done using a pump, you have to wash it before you can use it again. Actually, after you're done using it, you can put it in a gallon bag and put it in the fridge and use it again for up to 24 hours as long as you keep putting it in the fridge after each session. So you can use it multiple times before having to wash it as long as you get that in the fridge in a Ziploc bag. I'm gonna increase the setting a little bit because I think I can handle it. Yeah, we're up to a 10. Let's see if we can do a 10 on this side. Sounds like Levi's waking up from his little nap. When I first started breastfeeding, I'd wear like nursing pads to collect all that leaking milk because it was messy and gross. And then I learned about milk collectors. Literally just wear this throughout the day. And like obviously you have to, like after 4 hours, you have to put it in the fridge, get a new one. These are insane. You can collect so much leaking breast milk, and so then it's not going to waste. These specific ones you can actually push right here once it's on you and it will suction, and it's like a manual breast pump. These are so easy to clean, so inexpensive. I actually ordered a whole other pack, so I have 4 of these total because I love them so much and I use them all the time. They're perfect for on the go because you can easily just put them in there and suction them instead of having to deal with a like regular pump on the go. Your hair is kind of crazy. He's been smiling so much more. Hi, Levi. Hi, buddy. A little tip, if you breastfeed and pump, before you put him down for the night, do a bottle instead of breastfeeding, in my opinion. I have done both, breastfed for the last feeding and a bottle for the last feeding. He sleeps so much longer with the bottle. I think he just is getting plenty before he falls asleep, and breastfeeding makes him tired, so he's able to get plenty of milk, and I know how much he's getting before bed and making sure he's getting enough, so he sleeps way longer. So if you do both, I highly recommend that last feeding be in a bottle. I have learned it's quite easy to overfeed with bottles. Breastfeeding, I don't even know if you really can overfeed, but bottles. So what I recommend for bottles is actually putting them in a vertical position to feed them bottles versus laying down, because they have to do more of the sucking instead of just letting it like come in or like drip in, whatever. So I feel like it helps slow them down. Feeding a bottle shouldn't be super quick. I think it's supposed to take 15 to 20 minutes. And if it's not taking that long, be sure you're taking breaks in between, burping, maybe even just like a pacifier for a little bit, because it helps the milk settle into their stomachs. Because otherwise they think they're still hungry and they'll be like fussy, still crying, they're like, give me more, when really the milk just hasn't settled. You can look up charts for how much certain ages should be eating. Obviously every baby is different. They might need a little less or a little more, but try to stick with that number. And then after the bottle, if they still seem fussy, try everything else like diaper change, help putting them to sleep, pacifier, rocking. And then if they're still super fussy, obviously give them more milk if they're hungry. But I've learned that he's still fussy after a bottle sometimes, but usually it's just because the milk hasn't settled yet. So if we try other things, that usually helps. Also, sometimes they keep eating because they just like the sucking motion. It helps soothe them. So try a pacifier, like I said, instead. Because sometimes they're just sucking because they like to suck. They don't actually need milk. There's a 3x3 rule with pumped breast milk. So usually freshly pumped milk is good for up to 3 hours outside of the fridge. So a lot of times I'll collect in these up to 3 hours. Technically, I think you can do 4 hours, when my nurses said, but 3 hours if you want to be safe. And then after that milk is pumped and you put that in the fridge, that's good up to 3 days. So you have to use it within 3 days, otherwise get it into the freezer. Some people say 4 days. If you want to be safe, again, 3 days. And then for the freezer, it's good in there for up to 3 months. Some people say 6 months, but the 3x3 rule says 3 months. So within like 3 to 6 months, be sure to use up your frozen breast milk. If you have a huge stash and they're not eating it, you can either donate breast milk. You can do a bunch of other things. If you look it up, you can turn it into jewelry. You can do milk baths. You can even use it as like hair masks. Turn it into a lotion. There's so many uses for it. So you don't ever need to throw away breast milk. Old stuff, you can just do other things with it. Say you take breast milk out of the freezer and you want to use it, you can either put it in the fridge, and it's good for up to 24 hours after it thaws. So not after you put it in the fridge, but after it completely thaws, good for 24 hours. Otherwise, you can just heat up the frozen breast milk bag, like put it in a bowl of hot water. I feel like a lot of breastfeeding moms do the pitcher method, so I'll describe that for you guys really quick. I use it and love it. So what you do is you take your pitcher and you just pump milk for 3 to 4 days, and you just keep adding it to this. You shouldn't add warm milk to cold milk though, so obviously this is in the fridge cold. So once you get new pumped breast milk, say I just pumped this, I'd keep this separate in the fridge, and then once it cools down, then pour it into the pitcher. And then after 3 to 4 days, obviously, for the 3 to 4 days, you can use what's in here if you need bottles, but otherwise, you freeze it and just bag that breast milk after 3 to 4 days, and then start over, clean it, and then again 3 to 4 days. It's pretty simple. I was a little confused at first, but it's really not that complicated. After you heat a bottle up from the fridge, I actually heated this up before you napped, so I can still use it because it's been less than 2 hours. So once your milk is heated up, you have 2 hours to use it. Otherwise, it's no longer good. You have to get rid of it. You can't refreeze it or anything. You can use this for milk baths though. Let's quickly talk about baby bottles. When you have a breastfed baby, you do not want a bottle like this one. We use it sometimes still, but it just drips right out, and again, that can cause overfeeding, and it's just not similar to the breast, because with the breasts you have to like do the work. So not the best for breastfed babies. It's one of the bottles we still do use, but we try to stay away from it if we have other ones clean. Something you want to do when you're looking for a bottle is to see if it passes the triangle test, where you put your fingers like this and you want very little space. Unlike, for example, this one, you just see quite a bit more space. That is just not like the actual nipple, which you don't want if you're breastfeeding and doing bottles. Plus, it causes them to suck in more air, which makes them uncomfortable. Obviously, we don't want that. This is actually my favorite bottle we have right now. I have a bottle for my husband later because he does nighttime feedings, but it's not perfect for the triangle test, I will say that, but it's one of the only ones that has these like nipple dots that are like the breast. It does not leak out. So many leak out, unfortunately. I have had problems with the pigeon one leaking out. This one doesn't. Also, every other bottle I have has one hole at top, which the breast does not. The milk comes out of multiple spots. This one, I don't really want to waste much milk here, but if you start squeezing it, I don't know if you saw, it came out of multiple holes. It has an anticolic vent at the bottom versus up top, which I have seen bubbles in other bottles. I haven't in this one. This one you can get in glass or plastic. The baby loves it. We love it. You leave this on the bottom as you heat it up and then take it out, and then that little vent is down here. Super easy to clean. Definitely your go-to bottle. I also wanted to quickly mention the Medela manual hand pump. So it would just go in here and then you would like manually do it. I had this in the fridge so I could use it again because it had been less than 24 hours or whatever. But this is something that empties me really fast, and it's really handy. Obviously you have to sit there and do the work, but like one time I was pretty full and I like quickly just pumped for a couple seconds and it was like filling up so fast. So honestly, the wearables are nice for being able to do a couple things without having to be stuck to a wall. Wall pumps are usually the best for emptying you completely, which helps with your supply and obviously get emptied. The Trolls can collect leaking breast milk, also a quick, easy manual suction. These are my favorite for like in the car. So honestly, if you can afford multiple things, highly recommend, or if you add multiple to your baby registry maybe, because I use them all. Plus, you obviously have to wash them, so it's nice if one thing's dirty, you still have something else you can use. I'm gonna share 2 more things and then we'll pour the milk we collected. But I highly recommend coconut milk. if you're breastfeeding and or pumping mom, you can put this on your nipples to heal them. You can get a big tub like this for like $6-7 compared to like nipple cream, which is way more expensive when you get a small tube. So highly recommend coconut oil, but you can also take this and put it in your flange before you pump, and it can help make it a little more comfortable if it hurts you. I love these containers from Mom Cozy. They have the measurements, especially for putting my milk in before I put into the pitcher. These are super nice. You can get a set of 4. I will also link this below. Everything in the video will be linked below. And then one more bonus thing, because I just thought of it, is that if you can teach your baby early on to take cold breast milk, that is very helpful. This is the left side. Because then when you're out and about, if you don't have somewhere to heat it up, you can easily just give them cold breast milk. And then like I said previously, if you heat up a bottle of milk from the fridge, that milk is only good for 2 hours and you can't re-put it in the fridge. But if you don't heat it up, you can put it back in the fridge. Some people don't want to, but personally I think it's okay. A lot of people say it's okay. That's another reason it's nice to get them used to cold breast milk. Obviously I don't always do cold, but it's nice that he already like takes it. I apologize for this video being all over, but I'm just kind of sharing things as I think of them. But one more thing, I swear. Pacifiers. If you are breastfeeding, you really want one again that passes that triangle test. So you want the base bigger than the top, which many pacifiers don't do that. So I will link these below, but that's what you really want to focus on. I just let the pumps go until they auto shut off, which is after 30 minutes. So let's see how much we got on my left side. It looks like we got about 3 ounces. Now let's check the right side. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I always get more on my one side. So it looks like we're at 7 ounces total, so about 4 ounces on that side. I also highly recommend having a bottle washer if you pump, because there's just so many things to wash all the time and it is way quicker at washing things. I use the Mom Cozy bottle washer. I feel like having a nice nursing bra is super helpful. And here's a little hack. If you didn't know, you can use nursing bras as pumping bras. Let me show you. I had some leakage this morning, if you can't tell. We got a couple marks here. But I really like this nursing bra. I can unclip it and clip it back up with one hand, and it's very high quality material, and I don't know, I really like it. But what you can do is, say you're using a pump like this, like the wall pump, usually like it's hard to get it to stay there. That's why they have pumping bras. But let me show you this little hack. All you have to do is unclip this, then you'll take this and put it how you want it. So this is just unclip down, have that where it needs to go, and then you're gonna take this inner part, wrap it around, and then clip this back up, and then it kind of is just wrapped around, as you can see, and then you can let go and it will stay in perfect position. So you don't need to get nursing and pumping bras, really. You can just get nursing bras. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe learned something new, and I hope to see you guys next time.